So I see a lot of 4s, and a lot of these can be solved on desmos, so you may actually get more than that, because we're going to solve some of them on desmos. So it was a tie between 1 and 3, so 1 cannot be done on desmos, so we'll talk about that one. And then I'll show all the other ones. You can use desmos to either solve it, get the answer, or you have to have some knowledge to do it. Great, so with the first one, this is going back to domain and range. Range is your x's or your y's? Y's. So we're looking for the y values of this. Is this a discrete or continuous function? Discrete. They're random points all over the place, which means you're going to have a list of numbers, least to greatest, lowest to highest. What would those numbers be? Here's one. You have to list them all out. There we go. So if you do not have this, go ahead and erase your answer and put this. Make sure that is written. 2 is something you can solve in Desmos, and I know we talked about that before. Some of you use that, some of you don't. Moving forward, we're going to start doing this more often, so you see what questions you can use Desmos for. That way, when you see it on the SOL, you know, oh, I can just put this into Desmos and quickly solve it, and things like that. All right, so for this second one, I'm going to put that into Desmos. My keyboard is not there earlier. Negative 12x plus 8 plus 5x equals 36. So as you type that in, it's going to give you what your x equals. Find that line, find that point. So x should be negative 4. It is good that you still know how to solve it, especially moving into geometry. You'll need to still have like your algebra skills to do some geometry parts. So don't lose that information, but also know how to use it in Desmos as well. Okay, so x equals negative 4 was your answer for 2. That one is you can use Desmos and it gives you the answer as long as you know what you're looking for. 3 can also be used, or Desmos can also be used there. Negative 2x plus 1. So you can use it, but you have to know what you're looking for. So this is one where Desmos may or may not help you if you don't know what you're looking for. So because you have to solve for y, one, it might be easier to just move the 2x and then you have your equation. But if you put it into Desmos, you could see what your equation might start to look like. You could see your y-intercept. You can count your slope. You could rearrange it without actually rearranging it. Because I could say my y-intercept is 5. I could count my slope. My slope is 2. So my equation for y should be 2x. Y equals 2x plus 5. I could check that just to make sure. If they graph over top of each other, which they did, then I know that's the same thing. So you could use it to check yourself. If you know what you're looking for, you could also use Desmos there. Questions so far? For the fourth one, just like the other equation we did, you can type this all into Desmos and it'll solve it for you. What was that, 6? I use the division or the slash, backslash, forward slash, whichever one it is. X minus 5 equals 18 over x plus 1. So just like the last one, it'll give you some vertical line that'll tell you what your x is. The only difference with this one is you may need to zoom in to figure out exactly what it is. Now this one's kind of big one, so you can even see that that's 8, but just to make sure. The reason it does that is because these aren't linear. So because these aren't linear, it doesn't really work well with nonlinear things. So you have to zoom in to figure out what that is. You could also type in each side separately. When you type them in separately, they make these weird functions. But you're looking for where they intersect, which would again be at 8. And you know it's the 8, not the 2, because your variable is x. If it was y, then you'd be looking for the 2. So those are different ways to use desmos to answer those types of problems. What was the last one? Oh, and then 5, you could also use desmos for. Someone read that one off to me, please. So it'll graph it for you. You don't need to solve it. Then you could do a couple things. Graph by your x and y intercepts. Plot those 2 points. Graph your line. Find your y-intercept. Find your slope. Plot multiple points for your slope and graph it like that. So desmos will really help with graphing problems. Questions on any of those? Hold on to your calendar because we're going to talk about that next week. Do get out your papers for your binder check. Wait, not at the second. In a moment, you're going to do that because I'm going to start going around to do binder check. Here is what you are working on for today. 1, if you need to finish the Unit 6 test, that's priority number 1 because you are running out of time to do that. If you need to finish your lab, that's priority number 2 or 1 for those of you who already finished that. Then, after that, you're working on Missing Khan Academy and retake work. I will pass out those of you who need to do retake work after you finish tests and labs. After all of that, or if none of that applies to you, I want you working on this. So either on your computer, or you can grab the paper copy from back here by the fan. It's in a green folder. You're going to go into Test Nav on your computer and take a practice SOL. It's only 28 questions, not like the real SOL, which I think is more. And it's going to have different options for you if you're on the computer. So you're going to get a paper copy regardless. Whether you choose to do the paper copy or do the Test Nav on the computer is up to you. I would say the Test Nav would show you like more of the tools and how things will work, whereas the paper copy you won't be able to like drag and drop things. There are different options when you get there. You can practice with the calculator, see how that works, see what you could do in it, see what you can't. There are the math tools, which most of those are really for geometry. The most in the math tools we need is maybe the straight edge, maybe not. The drawing tool. There's a ruler in there. Not really helpful for you guys though. And then the last one is like Algebra 1. I don't think it says Math SOL. I just forgot what it actually says. So after you've done everything else, I want you working on this on the computer or that on the paper. I think that's it. What questions do we have about what we're doing today? Before we go to lunch, go ahead and get your papers together. If you've already done that, go ahead and grab a paper copy of the SOL thing from back there. When we get back from lunch, if you have not finished your project, go ahead and get in your group, unless you need to finish the Unit 6 test. You're doing that first.